You know that one friend who says, I'm 5 minutes away, but they haven't even left the house yet? Yeah, they're probably still deciding what playlist to put on. Or maybe they're watching one last YouTube video. Or maybe, mentally, they just live in a different time zone altogether. We all know someone like that. And if you don't, there's a small chance it's you. But before you roll your eyes and say, okay, maybe I'm just bad at time, here's something fascinating. Psychologists say chronic lateness isn't just about being lazy or careless. There are actual psychological patterns behind it. And once you understand them, you'll see. Being late is rarely just about time. It's about personality, emotion, and the way your brain perceives reality itself. Let's break it down. The 5 psychological types of people who are always late. Some are funny, some are frustrating, and one of them might sound uncomfortably familiar. 1. The dreamer, the time optimist. This person genuinely believes they can do 10 things before leaving the house. They'll say, I'll take a shower, make breakfast, clean my room, walk the dog, send 3 emails, and still leave by 8. It's 8:10. They're still picking socks that match their vibe. They live in a fantasy version of time, a world where traffic doesn't exist, things never spill, and finding your keys takes exactly 10 seconds. Psychologists call this time optimism. It's when your brain mentally edits out all the boring in-between parts, packing your bag, brushing your teeth, walking to the car, and replaces them with a smooth, ideal timeline. It's not that dreamers don't care. It's that they're in a love affair with possibilities. Their brain literally tricks them into believing that there's always enough time. So when they're late, it's not from disrespect. It's from delusion. A beautiful, annoying kind of delusion. If you're a dreamer, here's the fix. Multiply every estimate you make by 2. If you think something will take 10 minutes, plan for 20. And maybe, just maybe, you'll live in the same time zone as the rest of us. 2. The intentional late one, the cool controller. Now, this one's fascinating because technically they could be on time. Their clothes are ready, their bag is packed, they're literally standing by the door. And then they sit down. Why? Because they don't want to be early. They'll say, being early is awkward, or no one's there yet. Or their favorite line, the hero always arrives late. This isn't about laziness. It's about control. Psychologists call it temporal dominance, the subtle desire to dictate the flow of interaction. Being early feels like surrender. Being late feels like power. When they walk in last, all eyes are in the room. And for a split second, they control the energy. It's not just lateness. It's choreography. It's their quiet way of saying, I move when I decide, not when the clock tells me to. So if you know someone like this, remember, they're not trying to disrespect your time. They're trying to protect their own sense of autonomy. 3. The overthinker, the paralysis by analysis. This one's heartbreaking because the overthinker isn't late because they don't care. They're late because they care too much. They'll stand in front of their closet thinking, what if this outfit looks wrong? What if people stare? What if I forget something? And while they're analyzing all those what ifs, time quietly slips away. Psychologists call this decision paralysis. It's when your anxiety hijacks your ability to act. To others, it looks like procrastination. But for the overthinker, every small choice feels like a test they could fail. So they hesitate. They delay. They get stuck in mental quicksand. By the time they leave, they're already exhausted. Not from rushing, but from thinking too much before moving at all. If you're an overthinker, remember this. Clarity comes from doing, not from thinking. Sometimes leaving imperfectly is better than being perfect and never leaving at all. 4. The rebel, the time rule breaker. We all know this one. The friend who walks in 45 minutes late with a coffee in hand and a smirk like, what? Time is a social construct. If the meeting's at 7, they'll show up at 7:45, confident, unbothered, maybe even proud. To them, punctuality feels like submission, and being late feels like freedom. Psychologists call this trait reactance, the instinctive urge to resist rules, authority, or expectations. The rebel doesn't hate you, they just hate control. If they feel pushed, they push back, even against a clock. Their lateness isn't an accident, it's a statement. A subtle, stylish way of saying, I live by my own rules. Ironically, they're often the same people who get frustrated when others are late for them. Because deep down, their rebellion isn't about time. It's about identity. So, if you're a rebel, ask yourself, are you being free or just avoiding structure that could actually help you? 5. The overloader, the people pleaser. And finally, the overloader, the kindest heart with the worst schedule. They'll wake up and promise to help everyone. They'll agree to bake cookies, drive a friend, fix the printer, answer emails, feed the cat, and somehow still make it to their meeting on time. Spoiler, they won't. Their lateness isn't because they're disorganized. It's because they can't say no. Psychologists call this guilt avoidance. They'd rather disappoint themselves than risk disappointing someone else. Every yes they give steals a little more time from their day, until they're stretched so thin they start arriving late to everything. They're not unreliable, they're just too kind for their own calendar. If that's you, repeat this out loud. Being helpful doesn't mean being available for everything. You can't pour from an empty cup or an empty schedule. But why does it matter? Because lateness is one of those small things that actually reveals a lot about us. It exposes how we handle control, anxiety, guilt, perfectionism, and pressure. Some people see lateness as a disrespect, but most of the time, it's a mirror reflecting something deeper: our relationship with time and with ourselves. And here's the truth: time is emotional. We don't just manage it, we feel it. The anxious person feels time rushing like water slipping through their fingers. The dreamer feels it stretching like elastic. The rebel feels it as a cage to break out of. The overloader feels like closing in faster than they can catch up. Every person has their own emotional clock, and understanding it is the first step to mastering it. The science behind time perception. Neuroscientists have found that time perception isn't universal, it's subjective. When you're anxious, your brain speeds up your internal clock. Every minute feels shorter. When you're in flow, it slows down. Hours pass like seconds. When you're distracted or overstimulated, you lose track of time entirely. So the people who are always late may literally experience time differently. And that's why yelling, nagging, or punishing rarely fixes it. Because you're not correcting behavior. You're trying to rewrite how someone's brain experiences reality. The psychology of punctuality. But let's flip it. What about people who are always early? They often fall into the opposite trap: overcompensation, perfectionism, control. For them, lateness equals chaos, and chaos equals failure. They arrive early not because they have time, but because they fear running out of it. It's the same emotional dance, just on the other side of the clock. So whether you're always early or always late, both can be symptoms of the same human truth. We're trying to manage uncertainty by controlling time. So which one are you? Are you the dreamer, lost in your own version of time? The intentional late one, crafting your grand entrance? The overthinker, paralyzed by choices? The rebel, breaking invisible rules? Or the overloader, drowning in good intentions? Or maybe you're a dangerous mix of all five. Because most of us are. We bend time in different ways depending on the situation. Early for work, late for friends, on time for no one. We all have a time personality. And the key isn't to be perfect. It's to be aware. Because once you understand why you're late,
you can finally stop feeling guilty about it and start working with your brain, not against it. So next time you're running out the door, coffee in one hand, guilt in the other, just pause for a second. Ask yourself, which version of me is running late today? And maybe, just maybe, that tiny moment of awareness will help you step into your own time zone, not the one dictated by pressure, fear, or habit. Because time isn't something you lose, it's something you shape.